Brandon Scott of sportsradio610.com here. Happy to be joined by Travis L. Williams, former head coach at Tennessee State, and now doing some other things, establishing an HBCU All-Star Game, which is, new as a concept and a new idea, but something that's very cool. And glad to really be here talking to Travis about it. Doing a lot of really cool things for the HBCU community, the universities, and all those affected. So, Travis, thank you for joining us here.
Hey, Brandon, I appreciate you having me, giving this platform to share something amazing for our HBCU culture and community that is a God-driven vision. So thank you for having me.
Well, let's start there with the vision part of it. How did this come to be? I know you have a coaching background, obviously, so you know ball, but this goes a little bit beyond just basketball because you're doing a little bit more for the community, but also highlighting HBCU talents during the NCAA tournament. Around the time of the NCAA tournament, it's going to be at Texas Southern University this year. Tell us how all of this came to be, just sort of conceptually.
In October 2019, God placed this vision in my spirit. As you mentioned, I'm a former 17-year successful college basketball coach. So I pretty much coached on all levels. And so for me, it was, an opportunity to do something for our culture that's meaningful for our culture. So I've been on both sides of it. I played on the PWSI side, and was a head coach and a part of coaching staff 8 years in our HBCU side. So I got opportunity to see both sides. And I got a difference between, sort of the have and the have nots, and just where our HBCUs don't get the type of exposure that some of our PWI counterparts get or colleagues get. And so it was placed in my spirit that God said, you're getting ready to do something to change the trajectory of our HBCUs and our community, our culture, our student athletes, our talented coaches. And so it's long overdue, as God placed in my spirit. It's much deserved. And so now we got an opportunity. I launched HBCU All-Stars, a Black-owned sports marketing events and media company here in Atlanta, Georgia. And our principles are ear and or, exposure, access, recognitions, opportunities, resources, and results. And that's where we base our principles. Anytime we get an opportunity to advocate, empower, and pour into our HBCU community, our hardworking, talented, brilliant, and ambitious HBCU student athletes, and our brilliant coaches that sometimes don't get the national notoriety to shine. So I founded this company in 2019 on a God-driven vision.
So tell us about that, how that all comes together in terms of the marketing vision and the opportunity. You talked about the exposure and how it is long overdue that, the HBCU student athletes and really the HBCU community at large really get the type of exposure and spotlight that it deserves. How does attaching the HBCU All-Star Game to NCAA tournament time and all of the energy around that, what does that for you guys do toward that mission?
And that's a great question you asked, Brandon. Think about it. The NCAA tournament has been around 40 plus years. 40 plus years. And we've never had an HBCU All-Star Game during that time. You have the NABC Reese's All-Star Game. You have those Final Four teams that are participating in the Final Four. But there's never been an HBCU All-Star Game. And they do the NABC All-Star Game, and I think maybe one or two of our HBCU players have played in it, but not anything of significance to the level where we are now. During college basketball, biggest weekend, all eyes will be on the city of Houston and Texas Southern University for the Final Four, but also for our HBCU All-Star Game. We are making history once again, as I mentioned to you earlier. We had the first ever HBCU All-Star Game in April 2022 in New Orleans. And during that time, it was when the Blue Bloods were in town. And our HBCU All-Stars, the top 24 players. And we wasn't second fiddle to any of them. And so we were excited. Hey, we participated. We took our guys to the NCAA Final Four teams as a partnership with the NCAA. We had an HBCU All-Star Game welcome affair, along with our NABC partners, allowing us to use their host hotel. And so it's a collaborative effort in letting them know that our HBCU All-Star Game is a part of what goes on during Final Four weekend. and we're just as significant. And so, I mean, and I'm glad we're having this conversation. And so it's a part of the fiber and show the importance of our HBCU basketball that wouldn't otherwise get this national platform. And the kicker here, Brandon, is that the game is broadcasted live on CBS television network, prime time Sunday, April the 2nd in Houston. Texas Southern University will be the place to be. And so we have access, and CBS television network partnership, a great partnership, I might add. As you know, CBS controls the partnership with the NCAA tournament. And to be in partnership with them, who's really providing this platform for our community. And so it is important for us, whether or not we're in that game, but to tune in. It has over 122 million subscribers to CBS television network. That's why I wanted to just try to paint the picture and let everyone know the magnitude of this game being to provide this national and global exposure across the country. And it highlights us, the best in Black college basketball, from the MEAC, from the SWAC, from the CIAA, from the SIAC, and our 3 independent schools, Tennessee State, who plays in OVC, Hampton and North Carolina A&T that plays in the Colonial. So we have 48 HBCUs across the country, Brandon, compete for 24 exclusive spots during college basketball weekend, Final Four men's national tournament championship weekend. That's God speaking and say, hey, this is our platform that we are providing for our HBCU community. For me, it's all inclusive because I want all of us to win in this. And so everything that we do with HBCU All-Stars, as I mentioned to you, that's what I founded my company on, those principles. That everything it's called HBCU All-Stars. So everything we do, we want to do it at the highest level. We want to make sure everybody's included in it. And so with these roundtable discussions I had, I want them to know that you have a voice in this. You have a voice in this. That's why I will continue to highlight through my partnership with CBS Television Network and a host of ancillary events that we hadn't even gotten into. We just talked about the game. But when we start talking about the ancillary events and all the things that are going around the game, that affects our whole community. And so, Brandon, for us, man, it's like just being positive, just getting folks to understand what's at stake for our culture and our community, having our CBS sports colleagues that are reaching across the aisle, as you mentioned, and having these conversations, pouring back into our students and student athletes. And just to put in perspective, the HBCU All-Star Game during Final Four weekend is what really, bringing us to exposure and all the other things. But it's bigger than the basketball game. So our surrounding events we do a college admissions fair, Brandon, that's going to be there in Houston as well, where we invite all 100 plus of our HBCUs across the country to participate. So we can expose our Metro Houston and surrounding students, high school students and middle school, and come be exposed to our HBCUs. We did it in April 2022 at Dillard University. We had over 40 HBCUs participate. Over 1,000 students from the Metro New Orleans area come through in their local high schools. And we plan on doing the same thing. So that's one area that we really make a push, that we want to expose our students to our HBCUs. And not only that, we do a welcome affair where we do a welcome affair and welcome the city of Houston to come out and meet and greet. It's a free event. It's no charge. Just come through, show some love, meet and greet our All-Stars. We do a award ceremony where we recognize these individuals. That's some of our principals for the hard work and effort that they put in to come and participate, because they made it of 66 of those watch list players, and everybody deserves to be a part of this. So we understand the magnitude and the stakes that are part of this. And not only that, we do a social justice and civil rights panel discussion because we feel like it's important to let folks know that there's power in our HBCUs, but we all must come together and discuss that. So we brought in Ben Crump. We brought in Thomas Steele, the president of the SCS Southern Christian Leadership Conference, that, as many know, that Martin Luther King was a part of, that started was a president. So we bring in Jesse Jackson, a representative from Rainbow. We brought in Transformative Justice Coalition. We even brought in Marcus Arbery, and you know that name, Ahmaud Arbery's father, to come through and pour into our guys. And one thing I leave, if folks are watching this and listen to this, he made this statement to our 24 HBCU All-Stars. And he said, all of you all remind me of Ahmaud Arbery. And so that's the type of impact. We have some community outreach that's setting up at Cooney Homes, where George Floyd grew up, Yates High School. Recently, we did a tour there, over 800 students. But we recently found out that 200 of the families are in transition or homeless, where we're going to go in and pour into the community. We partner with Houston Random Acts of Kindness to provide a rack room on behalf of HBCU All-Stars, of pouring back into our kids in our community. And so these are some of just the things that we're doing. Financial literacy. We partner with Reveal Soup Company, a Black-owned soup company now that provides our HBCU All-Stars with a custom suit, over $1,000 or more custom suit. I'm wearing one. As you can see, that is Reveal Suit HBCU All-Star. Okay. Each one of those schools, those players that are nominated will have their university, like Texas Southern University, Bryson Gresham last year got one. Every player gets one of those. In partnership with Johnson's, because we understand the magnitude of this movement. You noticed I didn't say moment. It is a movement. It is movement. So with our partnership, we were able to provide, let me make sure I'm raising up, each player and each coach one of these national all-star rings, each player, each coach, because we understood the magnitude of this movement and what it meant for our culture. So I mentioned to you earlier, 40 plus years, we've never been in this space. And so it's important for us. And as you can see, that I'm passionate about what I do, because first and foremost, when it's a God-driven vision, I'm just pushing what God has placed in my spirit to touch each opportunity. These guys don't get the NBA scouts and agents going to their schools and watching them. This platform has really opened up a lot of opportunities, a lot of doors. Along with, now we have relationships with our NBA colleagues. And now you're starting to see the HBCU initiatives that the NBA is doing based off some of work that we're doing, you know. And so important. We're actually going to do a pro day combine, Brandon, prior to the All-Star game. We did it in New Orleans. We had 10 NBA teams. We're going to have all NBA teams, international G League teams, a part of this. So you see where we're getting at, that we want to be able to provide these type of opportunities. And so it's a number of things, financial literacy, but the reality of it, we making it all inclusive. We're there in the great city of Houston. Prairie View A&M will be a part of this, along with all our 48 HBCUs that are part of the selection process. Houston, Rice, we making it inclusive. That's how we're doing it. It's all of us a part of this.
I'm gonna get you out of here on this last thing. Mm-hmm. We talk to sports fans, man. This is a sports radio station, Sports Radio 610, the largest and most popular radio station, at least sports talk radio station in the city of Houston. So tell us what we can expect. What can our sports fans who, let's say they don't have a connection to HBCUs necessarily, or let's say that they don't even necessarily watch college basketball twice a week like I do, and like I imagine you might do at times, or a lot of times. Let's say that they are the casual sports fan that just listens and pays attention. Give the best pitch that you can. Why should they tune in, attend, beyond just obviously supporting the community, but why should they tune into this event? What can they expect, I should say, from such a new event like this, and an exciting one at that?
I think, my mantra is the best in Black college basketball and our importance to the college basketball landscape. You're getting ready to see some of the most skilled, some of the best HBCU All-Stars, but more importantly, people in general, And so I think, you got an opportunity not only to come to the game, but also to watch it on television. And so we want to show that our HBCUs matters, what we talked about earlier, Brandon, whether or not they get exposed or not, that they can compete and play on the highest level. And so this game will be high-level competition, intensity, passion from our HBCU All-Stars, but also from our coaches. You talking about a game that's really about to set it on blaze. We have both Prairie View and Texas Southern bands in attendance, the dance team, the cheerleaders, the Divine Nines, the Greeks. I mean, you talking about a game that's going to be just the hottest ticket in town. We want standing room only. So I'm encouraging you, get your ticket now. Get your popcorn now. because this is about us. If anyone knows how we celebrate black excellence, we celebrate it on the highest level. And now we get an opportunity to do it during college basketball biggest weekend, Final Four, where we get an opportunity on national television to celebrate black excellence, black history, black culture experience. Come on now. We have some of the most amazing HBCU alums across the country. You look at Kamala Harris, Vice President of the White House. Come on. Oprah Winfrey. We can just keep going on and name Spike Lee. We can just keep going, Samuel L. Jackson. We can just keep going with some of the most illustrious HBCU and influential alums. But this is the place that we getting ready to highlight some of the most prestigious HBCUs that are participating here, some of the most prestigious HBCU All-Stars, and some of the most prestigious HBCU coaches. And we get an opportunity to do it on the grandest stage. And so let me leave you with this challenge. Follow us at HBCU All-Star Game on our IG. Follow us on all our social media. Follow us on HBCU All-Stars and support. Just don't hit the like. Follow us and support. You see all of this stuff that we're putting out. It's a celebration of us, and it's all inclusive of everyone. And so we want to make sure that you support us. And if you can't come to the game, watch it. And if you still want to support, remember, a portion of these proceeds benefits students that are interested in going to HBCUs, a portion of proceeds, and then current HBCU students that are in financial need. A portion of proceeds go. So like, as I mentioned to you, we're all inclusive. And then we come in there and we support our Black and brown businesses that are there in the community. And that is important for us, is to give back and make it a win-win for everyone that is involved in it. So HBCU All-Stars, HBCU All-Star Game, Sunday, April the 2nd, 3 p.m. Eastern Time, 4 p.m. Eastern Time. Texas Southern University is the place to be for us.
And that is Travis L. Williams, the founder and CEO of HBCU All-Stars, a Black-owned sports marketing, events, and media company, launched a few years ago, right before the pandemic, and honestly doing its best to do the Lord's work here with the community, and all inclusive at that, not just Black and brown folks, but all people in the community that could benefit from this type of endeavor throughout. So, hey, Travis, I appreciate you for joining. I'm Brandon Scott from sportsradio610.com. We're going to drop some more information within the story and within the link here that's going to be attached to this video, so you guys can know all of the details and everything that you need to know to be a part of this wonderful event. And again, Travis, I thank you for joining me.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate you. Appreciate you taking time at your schedule to allow us to lead with you.
Gladly.